So Xavier already mentioned it here in Carleton. So if you want to look for any expert in France, just, it can come from any establishment in France. So it means university, les grandes écoles, any research or institute center, because as you know, our research landscape is different in France. While in Canada, you must be part of the 20 university. And obviously the reason why we're here is that Carleton University is part of our consortium. And Xavier already said, I'm just displaying here all the 20 universities member of our consortium, as you can see, coast to coast in Canada. So if you have decided to apply, you find a PI in France and you fill in all the applications, I'm really happy to tell you that we have an annual call for proposal. We launched this year, beginning of September, and it's still ongoing. And you will have until November 12th to apply, okay? I would just like to mention here, be careful. At that time you want to apply to FCRF, I would very much engage you to get into contact with your FCRF correspondent within Carleton. So Sylvie, she's the one, for two reasons. Because eventually, it depends, it's very internal, they might help you, or sometimes some university have internal deadline. The program, we imposed November 12th for this year, for example, but some university impose an internal deadline, just for example, to have the time to get the signatures on the contract. So ask them, just to be sure. For my knowledge, Carleton do not have, but just to be sure, ask them the right deadline. Once you have applied, we ask all the 20 universities in Canada to pre-select up to 5 projects per university. So I did a little bit on our database, and I just realized that we have an average of 3 proposals within Carleton University. So usually when you apply to the FCRF, you're automatically pre-selected in December. But once again, this pre-selection is completely internal. This is Carleton University who pre-select, so contact them. What we do once we have the pre-selected project is that we do a classic reviewing. So your application will go to France and Canada, and will actually be reviewed twice in France, twice in Canada. And at the end of it, we cross-tabulated the result, and the executive committee select in May the 20 project. So we don't have, like I mentioned already, the pre-selection is internal to the university. While the reviewing, both in France and Canada, we ask them to take a look at the 6 criteria. And I just insist here is that we ask to put some grades, okay? And 6 points have exactly the same importance. So obviously at the beginning, you used to do it. You have to explain your project, the innovative nature of your project, the contribution of the acknowledgement. I won't insist on that part. I will insist on the other ones. We ask the reviewer to look at the quality of the team, but obviously we don't ask you to put a resume of 30 pages. Please you will have the possibility to add your resume, the PI, and if you have any PhD or postdoctoral position also. But please do not add like too much line, really focusing on obviously your relevant publication, if you have any distinctions, and the very important, if you work with students. So what we ask you to explain us how you're going to spend the money during the 2 years. So obviously we ask the reviewer to look the roadmap. Are you going to spend, okay? And I will insist on the last 2 points because I can tell you it can make the difference. I'm the one dealing with the reviewing in Canada, and I can see sometimes tremendous projects, very, very much. And the difference is the two last points. Sometimes when you read the application, it looks like the Canada laboratory will do like 90% of the job. This is not what we want. We want to do a 50-50 collaborations. So just really highlight this, that the Canadian part will actually bring this expertise while the French partner will bring this expertise. and really show that both of the labs work equally on this common project. And the last point, as you can see, we ask you, are you going to engage some student with you? Some people said yes, which is pretty cool, but I very much encourage you to explain it more. How you're going to engage them. We don't ask the name of the student, obviously. No, but we will have a master or eventually a PhD student. He will travel to Canada or to France. Well, it can help you. It can make the difference, actually, at the end on the grades, just, you know. So this is for the really general call for proposal. I will just, if I have time, insist on our partnership, because during the last 20 years, we evolved, the program evolved, and we partner with these three really amazing organizations. And I will very much insist on the first one with La Fondation L'Oréal, because it's you, Canadian, who actually is in charge of this, because every year we do have access to 2 annual awards of $5,000, sorry. And so if you are part of the FCRF, if you have been pre-selected in December, and if you have a woman within your team, part of this project, she might be a postdoctoral or PhD candidate, and she must be a Canadian citizen. So if you have this woman within your team, you can actually candidate to have access of one of these 2 grants. And this is very fantastic. Yes, you have the money, but it can boost, really, it can boost a career to have such an award like this in your research experience. The other ones I will also mention, if you have been pre-selected, so not necessarily selected, if you have been pre-selected, you will receive information from the French Embassy, by the way. You will receive an email, but just, you know, you can also have you can also ask about this one, the one from it's an offer, it's a very generous offer from the French ministry, so the Ministère de l'Enseignement Supérieur et de la Recherche et de l'Innovation. I will very quickly mention it because this one is the partner in France who have to apply, because the ministry give access to 3 doctorate contracts. Just to give you an idea, one contract is the equivalency of a 3-year salary for a PhD student. So this is very generous. So the student may be in France, not necessarily French citizen, but it must be registered in a French establishment. So it's your French partner who must do this job. And finally, you know that the French Embassy already mentioned that they partner with MyTax, and our program FCRF, we also partner with MyTax. So if you have been selected, so you must be a laureate this time, you can actually apply to one of the GRA, and we have access to up to 10 grants every year. So just, you know, when you apply it, mention it that you have been a laureate with the FCRF, because we have this partnership. So I talk a lot. I think I give a lot of detail. Of course, if you have any question, you can ask during the Q&A session right now, or you can contact either, like I said, the French Embassy in Canada or myself. Just, you know, that every time we receive a question, we consult each other and we answer every question we receive. Like I said, as a member of the Carleton University, I very much encourage you to contact Sylvie, which is the FCRF correspondent within your university. And finally, if you want to apply, you have to go to our website where you will find the guidelines and the application form. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Clotilde and Xavier. That was great. A lot of information and great, yeah, and a really nice overview. I want to mention a couple things related to your presentations. So regarding an internal deadline, Clotilde is right. Carleton, I did not establish an internal deadline, but what I have asked is that as soon as you have you think you're going to be applying, to get in touch with me right away so that I know, so that there is I know that you're interested in moving forward with that, and then we can sort of organize when things need to be done. I do secure the institutional signature for you. That is a requirement. You will need to have that by the time that you actually submit your application for November 12th. Of course, I would need to get that, then therefore have your application completed before November 12th to get that signature for you. Usually doesn't take long, but it's something that we can work out kind of on a case by case, depending on how things are going. And what else did I want to mention about that? Oh, and we ask that, because the French partner there needs a signature as well. So we ask that the French side, the signature is received first, and then we will sign. Carleton will sign second. And also Xavier mentioned MyTax. Well, both Clotilde and Xavier mentioned MyTax. I just want you to know that I manage MyTax as well. So yeah, if you're doing anything with MyTax, please yeah, get in touch with me as well, and I can coordinate those kinds of applications as well. Now, in terms of, we'll turn to a Q&A in a second, but I have actually a question that I know comes up a lot with respect to the competition. So this is for new collaborations. So people have relationships out there with French researchers, and I often get a question about, okay, so where is the line? Like, what exactly constitutes new? If someone has had a friend, French researchers as friends for, or just acquaintances for a long time, they've maybe presented on panels together, they see each other at conferences or otherwise, and have been in touch, but they've never actually worked on a project, they've never published together, anything like that. Is that a new collaboration? Or someone who studied in France and now, say, works at Carleton, so they have a lot of contacts at French universities or at a French university. Can they go back there to make connections of actually working together, right? Or could they even go to their previous supervisor? You know, where are the boundaries with that, with what is considered appropriate or not in terms of a new collaboration?
Well, I can start. Maybe Xavier, you want to follow up. So the definition you gave was really the good one. We are aware that when you're a researcher, okay, you have connection internationally. So, and it's okay to be in a panel with someone, to know researcher from France that you met one a couple of times every year. What we ask is that you never engage in a research project, you never publish together. And that might be an issue for the second option you gave, because yes, sometimes we have people who are assistant professor right now, but who used to be a postdoctoral position before and who have worked in this specific. If they have research material, if they publish together already, for us, this is not a new collaboration. It really must be people who might obviously engage some ideas, okay, sometimes, but never worked in a common research project. This is our definition. Let me know if you understand, if I'm clear.
Yes, definitely. I had a follow-up, but I lost it. Oh, yes. So only faculty can apply, right? Not postdocs. In terms of young researchers involved, does that include postdocs as the young researchers or just graduate students?
No, yeah, it's difficult. I don't consider postdoc as a student, but that's why we changed the word student to young researchers. So it includes, depending, okay, for the FCRF, the general program, it includes masters, PhD, and postdoctoral positions. Okay, for the L'Oréal, for example, I mentioned, be careful, it's only PhD and postdoctoral. It does not include master. So I know it can be kind of complex. If you really contact us, then we will give you more detail, but this is, yeah.
And is there a minimum of students that you want involved, minimum or maximum?
No, Gabriela, let me know, but no, we don't have. The much is the better, but we are pretty much aware, of course, that we give maximum to 15,000. Okay, so at least the money is to send eventually you, the PI, or your team, 1 or 2 students to France. So you cannot bring 10 students with you. You know,
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Any other questions? You can just feel free to unmute or note it in chat.
Actually, I have one question. Can I go ahead?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm a civil engineer and new assistant professor in Carleton University. So, but I'm having difficulties right now to relate my research with the proposal, like coastal communities, oceanography, and so on and so forth. So the only thing that I can relate myself with this scope is the tsunami. So but I don't know, you're gonna be interested in that subject. So can you just give us more information? Because it is really, I mean, oceanography and oceans, I'm working on historic structures and masonry and fracture mechanics. It's really difficult for me to, relate myself with this.
Just, and maybe because I was not clear, and we maybe need to more clear on the website, it does not concern all the program. We fund 20 projects every year. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep.
Eventually, 5 of them will be on the ocean. So you can actually, apply for any project, any field, interdisciplinary. Do not force yourself to fit in this. Okay. Yep. Absolutely not. No.
I got it. Okay.
Obviously, the governance, which is made of 50 French partner and Canadian partner, they brainstorm every year, like, okay, where we want to go. So eventually they want to, highlight this specific project, but not the entire program. Only 5 and maximum, because sometimes if the project are not good, if the review are not good, it's up to 5. So feel free to apply in any field you want to apply.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
If I may add information too, every year we have about at least 50% of the applications are on, I would say, biology or medical sciences projects. Obviously, those projects will not fit into the main topic, which is suggested this year. It doesn't matter. We will still have a lot of laureates, which will be in biology and medical sciences too. So you don't have to try to fit in that main topic. It's more a general axis, which is a strategic axis that we embassies want to support between France and Canada. But not everyone fits in that, obviously. So that's why it's up to 5 projects will be on this main subject, but all the others will be in all the other topics, whether they are in humanities or artificial intelligence or civil engineering. They are all eligible, obviously. It's just we want to support mainly these type of subjects about the ocean, but all the other topics will be eligible too.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the clarification. Yep, that's good.
I see 2 hands raised, so we'll start with Sebastian.
Thank you. I have 2 quick questions for Clotilde. I was awarded this scholarship or fund in 2016, and my question is it possible for me? Would it be possible for me to reapply with another project and another partner in France?
Yeah, that was exactly my argument. We are very open. You must know that I have the data. So I realized that some of Canadian receive several times the FCRF fund. So please read obviously, the criteria is that you need to find a new partner in France.
That's not a problem. My second question is more problematic. I'm in the Department of French here at Carleton, and our master's program has been struggling over the last few years. So it's very difficult to find students in general. And in particular, I've had a lot of problems finding students agreeing to work with me because I'm working on the 17th and 18th century, and that's an issue. So it's what can I do to not to go around, but just to still have students in with the project, but what can I do? Can all students come from France and
that was exactly my idea. If you're struggling within your university, what you can highlight in the application is that you're going to bring students from France. And this is something we want because we are a program of exchange international that we are very much enjoying to see that you recruit internationally and in France. So just highlight this. And once again, we don't ask the name of the student, okay? No. Because sometimes you don't know, okay? We know that it can take time, but you need to just say, hey, it can be a PhD, it can be even a postdoctoral or a master. You have hard time here. Just say that actually you will find a partner, and the partner will actually give you access to this the student. It's okay with us.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Another hand up, Heloise.
Oh, hi. Yeah, hi, Clotilde. Nice to see your face. I just wanted to ask a question. Xavier also mentioned that the field is wide open, but I have to say I used to facilitate this FCRF at Carleton. Sylvie's very graciously taken it over from me, but I have a question because twice I've helped faculty members from the business school put together, in my opinion, really interesting proposals on global finance, global trends, and they didn't even, get a mention. Let me put it that way. And I've wondered whether all fields are equal because when I look at who's winning from your point of view, from the field of winners, I've never seen business actually. So I wanted to say, do I say to Sprott School, don't even bother, because it's problematic. They get very disheartened when they put a lot of effort into, and I want to say this here for the folks present, putting together a 5-page proposal isn't a walk in the park. You have to be very succinct. You've got to be able to communicate with lay people because you don't know who your reviewers are going to be here and in France. So, I'm just asking that question. Should we, if we get proposals coming from the business school, dissuade them from submitting?
No, I completely understand your frustration. And I can tell you that in 2020, we celebrated 20 years. And actually, we go into every little data, the French embassy and New Ottawa, we work on a report. And I can tell you that eventually at the beginning of the program, the first 10 years between 2000 and 2010, we realized, mainly the STEM science were actually higher in the, but at the same time, it correlates the number of projects we received. And so the governance really make changes over there. And I'm very happy to tell you that we've seen changes the last 10 years and a completely equilibrium. And so obviously we receive a lot of, really a lot of applications in biology and medicine. These are the main two. chemistry, and the fourth one now is social science, following by human. I must agree that business must be a little bit at the end of the, but we don't receive a lot. So when it comes for the, I very much encourage you to apply. And I can tell you, I don't know how it's going in France, but I'm the responsible for the reviewing in Canada. So my work is to find the right reviewers. So if I have an application in business, I can assure you that I find the right expert, okay? So either it's written in French or English. I have access, actually, you know that because Carleton, you help us. We ask the other 20 universities to help, and we find the proper reviewer within these 20 universities. And so just be assured that we actually review an application in this specific field with the right reviewers. So I hope it will, please, no, don't say it doesn't worth it, only biology will be funded. That's not true, really. We changed. Xavier, I think you are here during the conversation. We really want to emphasize that this is the specificity of the program. Okay, we are pretty much aware of the amount of money. That's why we ask for 5 pages. Okay, we are not NSERC. We don't give you $500,000. So that's a little project. That's why we want you to give only 5 pages for a 2-year program. So I'm very sorry to hear that, and I hope we will, get better. No, very, everyone. We are very. Just at the end we have the result, and we take care of. Okay, where they come from, or we really take care of the. We have a look on the discipline, on the field. We want to make sure that it's equilibrium.
So if I may add a little bit of information on that too. So it's obviously peer reviewed. So we are not making the review of the applications, obviously. I mean, I'm a neuroscientist. I would never try to figure out what's happening in the field of Sebastian, for instance. I would not pretend to do that. And same thing with business people, which are proposing finance or mathematical analysis of finance systems, financial systems. I would not dare to do that. So it's really peer reviewed. Here in Canada, the consortium has to provide some experts to review the applications. And in France, there is a specific department at the French Ministry of Research, which has a pool of experts. And so they are spreading the applications among the experts so that they are reviewed by real experts of the field. In the end, we have a large Excel file with all the applications, and the applications are graded from A+ to C on the French side, and on the Canadian side. Usually, the first applications which are selected are those who are graded A+, and then there is a discussion among those who are just below the level, like A+, which are A+A, for example. Then we are really looking at having an opportunity to spread these few more laureates, first geographically in Canada, and second also on the topic, so that there would not be only life sciences or engineering which would be supported. So, but it's really a peer-reviewed program, because I mean, it's a little bit different on other programs. For example, I was mentioning the MOSECLAM program that we have in-house here at the embassy. We are analyzing the application ourselves, and we are not going into in-depth of the project itself. We are just more trying to figure out how that would contribute to improve the science of both labs, but it's not scientific applications, while the French-Canadian Research Fund applications are really on the science and they are peer-reviewed. So I'm sorry to hear that there are not so many applicants in the business or financial analysis which were successful, but that should not stop them to apply.
Okay, thank you. Are there any more questions? You can unmute yourself or raise your hand. I have maybe a sort of follow-up question. Are there any common mistakes made with applications that are good to avoid, that you see maybe repeated with proposals that might quickly disqualify people?
Repeated, I don't know, last year, for example, I've got a PhD student who would try, so obviously no. No, like I said, I mean, you researcher, you work very hard, you know how to written very well all the time. So what makes the difference is to see the complementarity between both of the team. And that can make the difference, really. And like I said, student and this, like, because sometimes on the fact, it's 50-50, but the way it is written, it looks like, hey, the Canadian will do the work. No, this is not what we want. So I can tell you, because we give exactly the same point, okay, for each question. Do not neglect these last two. Show that, yeah, that's, I read sometimes because I have no, when I'm looking for some reviewers, I read that and I realize, yeah, that can make the difference. Some are very good to highlight this, to show, you know, that it's going to be a 50-50 collaboration.
Good, good. That's good to know. And I see another hand up. Ivan, go ahead.
Bonjour. Bonjour, Xavier. So yeah, you are right. That was 2 or 3 years ago that the French embassy funded my travel to visit a few institutions. I have a question just about that balanced work between the French side and the Canadian side. Suppose you have, for instance, a PhD student in France engage with a faculty on both sides, a PhD student in France who's going to do part of the work. Or it can be a PhD student in Canada who's going to do part of the work. Isn't this indication that there will not be balanced work if there is only one student on one side, even though you can have complementary expertise on each side? And how can you show that there is balanced work then?
Yeah, no, it's the way you have to read, and I completely agree that like Sebastian sometimes just mentioned, sometimes you don't have students at the right time. So no, if you have one student involved, you need to really highlight that, okay, he's going to bring this expertise from France, travel, and actually bring this expertise here in Canada. For me, it's okay, it's 50, but seriously, I told you that because sometimes you read and you have this feeling that France is not the, well, or Canada, I mean, okay.
Yeah.
Don't do the much. No, it's okay. You don't necessarily have one student in France and one student in Canada. We don't say this. What we want to see is that both of the expertise, because obviously something else is sometimes two teams work together, but they have the same expertise. So you wonder, okay, but you're going to do the same thing across Atlantic. So what we like to see is that obviously you work on the same field, or sometimes it's completely interdisciplinary, but in the case, if you work with someone on the same field, just show that you're going to bring different expertise, and it might be only one student, but it's the way you're written. Just show this. Okay. Half of the work will be done by the French partner and half by the Canadian partner.
Good, thank you.
And what's very important is to have complementarity. If there is only one student, which is supported by the French Ministry of Research, for instance, if the consortium of the two labs will receive these new fellowships, then the student obviously will be registered at the French university, But then in a project can be written that the student will move here to Ottawa and work for 3 months in the lab and will learn a new technique, and this new technique will contribute to the progression of the project. So it's really that complementarity that is obvious in that case, and that's how it's supported. It can be the other way around. You have a PhD student here who has to go to France to learn, I don't know, electrophysiology, and be able to do the experiments there will be trained by an engineer in France, and then we bring back the technique here in the lab. That's complementarity. That's even though there is only one student.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I don't see any more hands up. If there are no more questions, I would like to thank our speakers, Clotilde and Xavier. Thank you so much. This was very helpful. And if anybody has any follow-up questions after the session, please get in touch with me. Yeah, and if you are interested in applying, definitely interested in applying, get in touch with me as well as soon as possible. Let me know, and I can just assist in the whole process. Oh, I see something in chat, but just okay. And what else did I want to say? Just thank you for attending. And if you want the recording as well, like I said, I'm not going to just send it out automatically, but if you're interested in having the recording, please let me know. Just email me and ask. And I think that is all. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for inviting us. I just want to mention again that if you are not ready to start with the France-Canada Research Fund project, and you still want to go to France to visit some colleagues to start to talk about it, so you can reach out to us and we can support you in that case. Or same thing, if you want to invite a French researcher for a couple of days here to discuss it, just reach out to us. We can support that. And same thing at the end, if you are supported by the French-Canadian Research Fund and you want to organize a symposium and you want to invite more of the French researchers here, or you want to be a few more of you to go to France, it's the same thing. We can also support that. We give a small grant to your university, which has to support 50% of the project. So we can support more projects differently. There are different tools, so don't hesitate to reach out to us. We are here for you to help you to build relationship with French labs, so do not hesitate. Thank you for the invitation.
There are a lot of great opportunities that the embassy offers. And actually, I wanted to mention, Xavier, before you go, please send me information about your symposia, your any panel discussions, anything you have happening that you want me to share with Carleton faculty members as participants. So please send me that information. I can always post it on our website, in our newsletter, and to let our faculty know that these things are happening. That would be great. Also, I had a question in the chat that maybe the slides could be shared with the participants. So if you, Clotilde and Xavier, if you can send me your slide decks, then I can send them to participants as well. See. And yeah. So, and yes, just to reiterate, please send me any kind of opportunities that are happening with the embassy, and I will distribute that information. Heloise, did you have?
I just want to say thank you for organizing. I think it's a great little fresh start for you, Sylvie, to encourage people to apply, and great new products out there. Thanks so much.
Yes, thank you. I should mention, new to this. Heloise did facilitate this for many years, and now I'm taking it over. So I don't have the same kind of historical knowledge, but I am. It helps to have this all this information from Clotilde and Xavier, who've been obviously involved for a long time. So thank you so much to the speakers and participants as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Au revoir.
Bye-bye.